Good evening, everyone. Let us just wait for more people just to join in, and then we'll get started. Just a thumbs up quickly if you can hear me clearly, or do you need me to speak louder? So I'm just starting a bit early to allow people in, and then at 6 o'clock we'll start with Jan Malan. Okay, I'm very excited. And we'll get this started on the wall. Okay, guys, so let me introduce myself as people are coming in. So my name is Mihlali. I am a student advisor at LISOF. I work in the sales department at LISOF, and I'm also currently finishing up my honors degree there. So I did a design degree undergrad, and now I'm doing my honors degree. And I'm just going to be speaking to Jan. I am so excited about this because this is somebody that I do look up to when it comes to production space within South Africa. I would say he is the godfather, but he is probably too humble for me to call him that. Oh, sorry about the lights. But I'm very, very much excited because he's just going to bring a completely different a different aspect to what you can become within the fashion industry. And a lot of people don't necessarily know so much about production and all that he does, but he's going to just come on here and explain nicely to everybody about what that is. Please make sure, guys, if you guys have any questions at all, please make sure you write them down so I can get to answer them, as well as please engage as much as possible, because this is really a gem that we are about to speak to right now. So without further ado, let me welcome Jan in the chat, and he will just start us off nicely. Hello, hello, hello. I need more people. So tell your people and your friends' friends to join in. Hi, Jan.
Sally, thank you for inviting me.
It is such a pleasure. It is such a pleasure. This is an interview that I was waiting for, to be honest. I really admire you and your work. And it's so exciting because I really want me personally, as well as other people as well, to know what production is and what more you do as well. So if you quickly can just briefly say what exactly do you do and how you got there.
I specialize in creating events, specifically on stage, and fashion is my first love. So I do all sorts of special events, but most of it are fashion orientated. So
Okay.
a perfect example would be the Lysop end of year show.
Yeah.
I spent my life traveling across Africa doing shows in other countries. I'm very proud to say that I've produced shows in 15 countries in Africa, as far up as Egypt. And then, of course, I have my work in New York City. My other love, Africa and New York.
Okay.
I do love working with student organizations or
Yes.
schools, and I have done many in the past for all the Technicons, Pretoria, Johannesburg, Lysov. So
Yeah.
I have a pretty good understanding of what you guys go through and what it all is.
Can we wind it a bit? What did you study? Did you study exactly production, or how did your story begin?
I must be honest with you, we are now talking 35 years ago. So
Okay.
my production was in 1985, and
Wow.
it came about by chance. I tried out as a model with a model agency in Johannesburg,
Okay.
and I just got on with the owner, and quite cheekily, when we had events, I would, as a model, interfere and say, why don't you rather do this? Why don't you rather play this music? Can't the models walk that way? Or,
Yeah.
that kind of.
Yes, you'll be a bit of a firecracker there.
She gave me the opportunity to create events for the model agency, and never looked back. I just fell into it. It's just something that is such a love of mine. Taking a designer, working with a designer on their collection, and then getting into the designer's space, and then creating a show which basically brings the designer's vision to life.
Oh wow. Oh wow. So you didn't necessarily study anything within design, if I'm understanding correctly?
Mihlali, no. But I have to say, those years, and even today, it's not like, and LISOF should look at it. Isn't a specialized course where you can go and say, I am studying to be a fashion show producer. Okay. So I would recommend anybody that wants to get involved in this field, especially fashion show production, that you have an understanding of fashion. So you need to have a background on fashion design and the fashion industry as a whole. Because being a fashion show producer, you really need to wear many hats. And then the other areas that you would need to look at if you want to do what I do would be event management. It's very closely related to event management. It's very closely related to being a theater director and conceptualizing a show or a story or an event. You also need to be proficient in public relations, especially for the kind, just marketing yourself and getting work and knowing how to deal with people when you're putting a show together. So one of the first things I did when I started becoming successful as a fashion show producer or creating events was to go on a public relations course. So I think that's incredibly important.
Okay.
You need to be a stylist. You know, I consider myself like a pratty patty.
Okay.
A designer comes to me and says, I need to put on a fashion show, but I don't know what music, I don't know how to build a stage. Or some designers come with a ready-made plan. I really enjoy designers where they would say to me, Jan, I know exactly what I want to do. This is what this needs to look like. This is my collection. This is the music that needs to be played. This is the vision that I want on the backdrop. And then all I need to do is to execute. And that's where I believe my skill comes into it. Is I really do that well. But you need to be a really, really good organizer. And you need to be able to work under stress and deadlines and know how to deal with a whole bunch of people just on a particular day.
Yeah, I do have to say, to speak about your work ethic, how calm and cool collected you are. I have had the privilege to model for the LISOF show twice. And it was very different from being sort of the design student, actually being a model. It was very, very much different. And backstage, everything was so organized. Everything was so clear. And it was direct in terms of models, where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do, in terms of the organization of even just having the rails, the walkway, how everything is so clear and set out. I did meet one of the people who does work for you, Katlego Edgar, backstage as well. And you have really been such a monumental step in the progress that he's making. How does one person come to work under your leadership? Are there internships, that you perhaps give out? How did Katlego, for example, get to work with you?
Mihlali, Katlego started working with me because of LISOF. LISOF has been suggesting students to intern with me over the last couple of years. Even way back, yeah, it's been for a while now. I love to. We do want to grow the industry. We love having interns working with us, and I
Yes.
believe it's a fantastic way to throw someone into the deep end. For me,
Yes.
Katlego was able to rise to the occasion every time, because I can tell you we've had many students starting with us as interns. We only see them once because
Sure.
it's actually really hard work, and you need to be so focused, and because you're dealing with people and people's dreams.
Yeah.
So um, yes, so if there's people out there, look, every time we have shows, we do welcome anybody who comes along, contacts me by email. I prefer if it comes through an institution such as ours, so
Yes.
that, and then I love teaching and I love working with people. It's very important also when you get involved with fashion show production, you need to know what side of fashion show production you're interested in. But if you want
Okay.
to be a show producer director, in terms of
Yes.
what I'm used to doing, you really need to know everything, because
Okay.
I would be going backstage to check on the running order with the team, on the hair and the makeup with everybody, check that it's
Yeah.
actually in place and happening, and then
Yeah.
go and talk to a guy that is doing the lighting, or somebody that's working on the technical side of things. So
Yes.
to literally go to a whole different language, what the light needs to look like and what music to play, and have we got the correct formats with the music? Has it been loaded into the computer? Is it playing smoothly? And then rush to the front to check with the organizers whether people are ready to come in, and whether the
Yeah.
seating has been laid out properly, and those kind of things. So you really need to be an all-rounder.
Wow.
Um, but it's definitely one of the most amazing experiences, just to be able to put a show together.
Yes. For people watching who don't necessarily know the different aspects of what you can become. So I heard you spoke a little bit of lighting, of sound. Can you just break it down a little bit more, so people can understand the avenues in which they can get into, maybe?
I thought I would. There's just so many people involved in this process.
Okay.
So you asked me this question. Tell us a bit more, a day in the life. So
Yes.
perhaps I should take you through that. Um,
Please do.
and what I looked at it, I thought I can't give you a day in the life. I would give you the life of a show. How does a
Okay.
show? And you could
Okay.
easily use myself as an example. Another example I could use, I'd like to mention right now, is at the end of last year, we did the Plat Africa Jury Awards. So
Oh yeah.
the focus shifts, because you're dealing with performers, you're dealing with jewelry designers.
Yes.
So I'm going to quickly take you through it. I don't know how much time we have, but it will give you. I actually sat down and wrote exactly how I see my life roll out when I'm putting an event together, and this might help some of you out there in terms of what it entails.
Wait. Please do.
Always, let's start out with, you need to get the job first. So that
Okay.
is a whole thing.
Yeah.
So social media, your word of mouth, making sure that you have done marketing, that people know you're available to work. So you need to market your company. So
Yes.
great, now you get your client. Next, which is also a whole process. This could take sometimes 3 months to 6 weeks, is pitching and putting proposals together.
Okay.
Sometimes you're lucky that the client has already decided to book you for the job, and
All
then
right.
you create a budget and you create a concept with the client or the designer. We can constantly go back and forth from the client. Sometimes I have corporate clients, and then
Yes.
sometimes I specifically have designers. I see Sarah Diop from Senegal has just been on. She's a
Okay.
fantastic designer. Anybody who is interested in what is happening on the continent and
Yes.
internationally, and specifically online, have a look at how she is selling her collection online. So look out for it. I saw her saying hello to us a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if she's still there. So, okay, so you need to pitch, which means you need to be able to put together a beautiful proposal, pretty much what you guys do, Mihlali. I'm so impressed with what you've been putting out to promote these events. So you need to show the client visually what you're going to do, visually, and then side by side with it, you need to give them a budget. And that budget needs to be detailed. So you need to contact a lot of different people depending on the type of event. So we're talking about stage design, sound, lighting, models, casting, hair, makeup. The list goes on and on. Because often some clients expect you to get the PR company involved, a PR company, get a catering company involved, but let's try to stick to fashion. So you have to go out and source venues. And the last people say to me, we don't know where to do our show this year. So 8 months before the time, I need to go and look and see what is happening. I need to be totally ahead of everyone else in terms of new spaces that have become available and so on. Excuse me. And then once you have the space, then you create your set and you work out how this is going to work. Once all this is done, then you need to start working with the designers and the people involved. You need to book performers. You need to negotiate their rates. Then you go on to models, which can take quite some time.
Yeah, it does.
When the designers are not happy with the models, I can only think of Patrick. He's got very high standards. So,
he really does.
through models until we have the right group of models together. Then just as a fashion show producer, your relationship with the hairstyling industry, you need to know brands out there. You need to know the Max and the Wellas, and you need to know your freelance hairstylists. And now that goes through to makeup as well. Sorry, I mentioned Mac, but hair and makeup, it kind of always goes together. So then you have to speak to designers about what kind of makeup they want, how they want it, what are the new trends. So you need to stay on top of trends as well. Then you need to look at the designer's collection to fully understand the collection, read what the designer's vision was in putting the collection together, and then work on how are we going to present this on stage? What kind of visuals are we going to put behind the designer's collection? Some designers will instinctively tell you they want this, they want that. Other designers need to go and help them fix stuff. So as you can see, it's quite a process, but quite exciting. And then you add the music to it. Then that brings us to just being good organizational skills. You need to know your computer skills. You need to know do an Excel sheet. You need to do a Word document, because you need to create a run of show that everybody can understand clearly and that makes sense to the people backstage, to the person who is pressing the buttons for the show music, to the lighting designer. All of that needs to be included in that. And when you get events where I really enjoy, for example, we use Platt as an example, we have to write a script because we have a presenter that is coming on and off stage. So now you get delving into a script writing and how that
and teleprompter.
Your MC arrives on the day and their material must be ready to go on monitors or cue cards or whichever system. So all those boxes needs to be ticked. Hello, Daniel. I'm seeing some of my people in the industry join.
No, Jan, I just quickly interrupt you there. From a perspective, let's say SA Fashion Week or AFI, for those couples, does SA Fashion Week approach you in that case, or is it more of the other way around where you would pitch to them, or are there multiple people who are directing or producing those shows? How does it work?
Okay, so nothing ever works 100%. So it can change show by show. For example, when I work in New York, always it's the designer or the client that wants to show at New York Fashion Week that comes to me. New York Fashion Week does not employ producers and choreographers. They literally only make the space available, and they charge you for the venue, and then but in Africa it works differently. So I'm going to do again last year, and this year we'll be doing Uganda International Fashion Week. So Uganda International Fashion Week becomes the client. South Africa, AFI would be the client, or SA Fashion Week would be the client. So they book us, and then they give you a list of designers that they want you to work with. So so there it becomes quite complex, because your clients then are not just an AFI or the body, but the designer. Because once you've been assigned that designer, you need to service that designer and make sure that the show in that slot is a success. So it depends. With Plat Africa, because we're using it as a case study, I have an event company as a client. Event company got the job from Anglo American, who is the corporate company. So now, and it's my job now to find the designers that I want to work with. Plus, then they say to me, here's all the competitors that are finalists in the jury competition. So I need to work with each one of those and with the people who put that together to show how are we going to show the jewelry. What do we put on the models to show the jewelry? What are they dressed like? All of those things come into play. So it all changes as you go. So when you so just carrying on with my little storyline. So actually quite a major story. Now we finally got all of this together. We've worked out the show. It's all on paper. We've got the music together. Then we need to move in. That is an extravaganza, because now we have to get to the venue and set sound, lighting backstage. When client walks in the following day, I want them to walk into a beautiful, wonderful space where they can see this is professional, not just in the front, but in the in the back as well. So that's a lot of work that me and the team would be doing in just setting it up, because I always say that failing to plan is planning to fail. So you have to already have decided where you're going to, how you're going to structure things, and stick to your times. So you have to be prompt. I always call myself the rabbit in the Alice in Wonderland story when we visit the show, because I keep running around going, you're late.
I've experienced it as well.
Because if you start letting that go, then the whole thing just becomes pear-shaped, and you don't want that. And sometimes it still does, and then you need to know how to deal with it, that somebody is late, or this didn't work out, or whatever. So it's also knowing how to solve problems very, very quickly.
On the spot.
So now we've moved in. Then we need to start rehearsals. Now we need to check if it's right. And often than not, it really doesn't go so smoothly, because this designer decides to arrive an hour late for their rehearsal. This 2 or 3 models are not there when you're supposed to rehearse with them. Or when you find that the music file that you're working with is corrupted, or you even find that you're struggling with your lighting designer because the two of you just don't agree on things.
Or constant creative parts. I get you.
You arrive and you go, but this is not what I asked. We said the set would face this way. Why did you build a set that way? Obviously, you check on those before it goes wrong. But
Yes.
then we found out that the ceiling height, now we're struggling to get a certain light onto a certain subject, and it's not working out. So what's the solution? That kind
Yeah.
of thing. While you're
Yeah.
busy doing that, then the person who owns the space comes to you and say, "Why are you knocking holes into that wall? I'm going to sue you."
I can
I'm just
imagine.
trying
I can
to think
just
that,
imagine.
or
Yeah.
um, our best, I don't know why this always happens, is something as simple as air conditioning.
Oh
Then
wow.
the
Such
model
a-
seems too
Yeah.
hot or too cold. So you
Yeah.
have to run around to people to try and get them to turn it off and turn it on and get it. And especially when you're working in convention centers. So it's
Yeah.
really it can be quite a circus. So, but at the end of the day, it's fun. Then then you have this adrenaline moment of actually starting that show in Mihlali.
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
the most incredible, weird, good, bad experience
I
when
can I
you are
can just
behind
imagine.
that deck and you are now ready to call the show, and you've
Yeah.
got everybody on comms,
Yes.
um, two backstage people, sound, lighting, everything,
Yes.
and you take a deep breath, and then client comes running towards the booth and says, "No, no, 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 wait, you can't start now. You can't start now." Yeah, you know.
I
Okay,
want to quickly ask a question about comms. Would it be you literally because I know with a lot of shows behind the scenes there's literally a person counting in terms of shots, which shots would be taken, the lighting, when the lighting changes. Would that be you speaking to everybody, or
yes.
would the lighting director be specifically doing that? How does it work?
If it's a smaller event, it would be me. I've got lighting sitting right next to me, so
Yeah.
I always set up my desk. And most events work this way.
Yeah.
So I try to have. I'm using casual terminology, but my sound technician on the right, and lighting technician on the left,
Yeah.
and the AV technician kind of right next to sound, because all of this needs to work in unison.
Yes.
So we actually have monitors that we can watch exactly how things will be changing. Um,
Okay.
I love to refer to it as a kind of surfing. You know, I imagine, not that I'm a good surfer, I don't, but you need to know how to catch that wave, because you've got the audience in the palm of your hand, or you
Yes.
don't, and
Yeah.
you know exactly when
When.
to let the lighting fade. So, so you're watching, for example, the models go down the runway, and at some point, the lights need to change, and then one model decides to carry on walking or something that they were
Yeah.
not supposed to, for example,
Yeah.
and then you moment, that kind of thing, and just so it's all of that, and just make sure. Oh, I can tell you the gaffes with music. For me, it's the worst sin is when the music is incorrectly played, or it starts
Yeah.
late, or um,
Yeah.
let's say you are dealing with a LISOF and you have all the students.
Yes.
So this is your end of year show, Mihlali.
Yes.
It's the only chance you have to show your four models coming out and
Yes.
walking down the runway,
That is
and
my
then
moment.
then
Yeah.
they start somebody else's music for some technical glitch or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Do you understand? So,
Yeah.
so in the palm of your hands, you have to be so careful to make sure
Yeah.
that you get it right the first time.
Yeah.
And I always say to myself, the thing with fashion shows, you can only do it once. A theater director can put a production together, and it can run for 6 months, and he
Exactly.
can, he or she
Free as goes.
can
Yeah.
correct the next rehearsal and so on. But when you're dealing with a fashion event, of what we do, you have one chance.
Fine.
So
Exactly.
so you after the show, you go on a complete anticlimax, even if the client is extremely happy
Yeah.
and everybody is raving.
Oh wow.
I can't party, or I can't enjoy it, because I'm thinking, I stuffed up there. That didn't go right.
Oh, no.
That, you know,
Yeah.
so it's that kind of thing. So, yeah, but it's very gratifying at the end of the day. And then you do the show, and then my pet hate, and I think it's everybody's pet hate because it comes in everywhere, is
Yes.
afterwards, post-production.
Oh, no. Yeah.
When the show is over, the show is not over for you.
You'll be there for another 2-3 hours again. Yeah.
That's not just that, it carries on for days after that because
Oh,
you need
wow.
to sort out making sure everything gets back, that the venue is clean, and then have a post-mortem with the client to go through what worked and what went wrong. So um, and then if you're busy and if you've got work, you probably need to start setting up for the next show while you do so. You kind of cross pollinating all the time. You're busy with
Yeah.
you, and you're just kicking off a project on this side while this one is coming to fruition. So what
So
happens?
quite for 7 days, you're basically not sleeping. You're just in this constant working mode.
You actually get a split personality because
Wow.
you're living your life for this particular project. You're happy and everything is going well. This project is not going so well and you're struggling a bit and whatever. So you kind of have to tap into all these, it's an emotional roller coaster ride. But
Yeah.
I digress. So, guys, if you still want to do show production, go for it. If you need help, you can contact me. I don't mind. Via Mihlali.
That'll be awesome. There is a question here from Papa Murph. He's asking, when did you start your production company, and how was the experience? And also, what are the hardships that you have had to overcome?
I noticed he's also asking about Greg. Okay, so I started doing, as I told everybody, 35 years ago, 1985. It grew soon after I started my own company. It started out as Jan Malan Promotions, and many people in Victoria will know me. I then started a modeling school with Andreas Stelzer, which was very successful. I don't blame anybody who don't remember, but there will be people. It's mainly youngsters online, so
Yeah.
I had a modeling agency, a modeling school. It was very, very successful. Then I changed it to Jan Malan Productions.
All right.
Doreen Morris came into my life. So this is a whole other part of the industry,
Yeah.
which definitely not related to Lysop, but important. And I saw that Lisa was online from Mrs. South Africa. I started really, really getting good at producing pageants.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
something that I'm incredibly proud of because of the relevance at the time when South Africa voted for a new dispensation in 1994. I started working with Doreen Morris, and we restructured and changed the Miss South Africa competition.
Oh,
So
wow.
include all the provinces and to just take it right out of its racist past, if I can call it that. And then I worked on 2 or 3 Miss Worlds that was held at Sun City. But then because of all the modeling, I became more and more fashion orientated. So we did every fashion show that you can possibly imagine in a shopping center in South Africa. It really taught me a lot. So from Sandton City to Tiger Valley in Cape Town to Carlton Centre many years ago to Soweto, we did all these shows and it really taught me. And then through Mnet and Doreen Morris, I was lucky enough to start the Face of Africa model search, which changed my life. And then I started traveling into Africa, and I told you that I've been to 36 countries in Africa, just working with models and fashion designers. So it's my absolute love. And then I started taking them to New York, and that came about. And here I am.
Oh, wow. I was going to say that earlier on in the day when we were speaking, you were saying that you've got such a heart for Africa, and growing the fashion industry within Africa. What would you advise people who are getting into the fashion space, whether it's design or media or journalism or production, what would be the advantage of staying home rather than going to your fashion capitals around the world? Why would it be better to stay here than to go overseas?
Mihlali, the world has changed. And
Yeah.
I'm saying, yeah, I, when I say yeah, I will always mean Africa. So
Okay.
I really, really honestly have a dream and believe that there should be no borders in Africa. We should all
Yeah.
be one country like the European Union. We
Yeah.
need to be able to take us everything and cross borders without these horrible passports and visas and everything.
Yeah.
And there's just so much creativity on this continent, and so that's the future that I'm hoping for. I've
Yeah.
I've got two, shall we say, two mantras right now when I propose things to is local.
Okay.
Hashtag we need
Support.
to look at what is available in our community. And when I say local, I mean absolutely local. If you Bloemfontein, if you in Port Elizabeth, I'm
If you
always watching those
live,
people design that never get the light of day because they have to pack up their bags and move to Joburg or Cape Town to be noticed. Now,
mm,
you know, if we can get to a point where everybody can be online and everybody's got great internet, can you imagine?
imagine. Yeah.
Then all those borders are erased. So,
Yes.
so it's very important for especially the students now to really, really learn how do we do things online.
Yeah, definitely.
Online, get it's paramount now. It's actually become our survival.
Yeah.
But I would say that I do believe, and I've read some really encouraging articles that was on the Women's Wear Daily site and this Council of Fashion Designers of America.
Okay.
European fashion designers are saying, no, stop the bus. We don't really want to completely go online with showing our collection. So
Okay.
someone says to you, fashion shows are dead.
Yeah.
I would contradict them. But you need to now be able, as I put it here, I actually wrote something down that I wanted to share with you because you wanted to know advice for someone wanting a career in fashion. Um,
Yes.
on a local or international platform, I just wrote down that it's truly a difficult question. At the end of the day, you need to love what you do.
Okay.
Your career becomes you, and you
Yeah.
are your career. So
Yeah.
if it's passion, that then you will instinctively know that it's for you. And with anything, you have to put hard work and results into creating this. So we were. Oh, this is the part that I wanted to actually get to is how COVID-19 has affected,
Yes.
how COVID-19 affected us. So forgive me,
Yes.
it just makes it easier because there's
It's
so many
okay.
things on,
It's
and
okay.
then you know, because of the lockdown, we all had to take stock of our businesses and how they operate. It's been
Yes.
tough. However, I do feel that there's light at the end of the tunnel and that we will come back refreshed and with new verve. It's
Yes.
as if we pressed a reset button on the world. Hopefully, going into the new future, we will do things with more thought for mankind and the planet we're living on. The lockdown has forced us to think how we can create online. I don't
Mm.
think fashion shows will completely disappear. So, as event producers, the skill of doing things online has now become one of my capabilities. Like I
Mm.
said, I need to be able to wear many hats. So now, if
Exactly.
someone comes to me and says, I want to put my collection online, I need to be able how to do it. So I'm learning fast and quickly how to do this, and I'm surrounding myself with experts, which is what I
Yes.
would advise other people to do. And what I would advise students to do, this is the future. So
Def.
figure it out. Figure out how
Yeah.
you to do this,
But
and it's not as if we haven't been talking about online for the last couple of even decades. Everyone has been saying we've got online, online, online. This COVID-19 has forced us,
yeah,
even the golden oldies like myself, we can't go, oh, but, you know, we just need to figure it
you have
out. So we
you have
spot.
that. Yeah,
But
I
as
was
I,
saying. Sorry to interrupt. I was seeing about 2 weeks ago the Congolese a Congolese designer who completely did her fashion show online, and their approach to it was so innovative that it instantly went viral. I wanted to ask you, do you think, especially being in the African continent, we are able to effectively do a fashion show like that? Do you think we
yes,
do you think
absolutely, working
like,
working on those kind of concepts. What
yeah,
we um, look, she still needed to get people in a studio, and she still needed to shoot it. So
correct.
that's going to go away. And
Yeah,
we now in level 3 lockdown, companies like myself can go to a studio and shoot models on clothing as long as there's no audience.
yeah,
So that is allowed. I don't think it's going to disappear forever. So
mm,
really, we need to find creative ways of presenting your collection online. But as with this article, if anybody's interested, I can forward it to you from WWD, the big designers, all saying that at some point they would want to go back to the traditional format. It's been with us since the beginning of fashion, of having
okay.
people in a room and dressing models and showing
Mm.
people in a room. Um,
And physically
but
seeing the I see.
what I
Mm,
like about the change is that we are going to, I think it's become too messy. Fashion weeks, too many fashion, the focus has shifted. Now,
mm,
what is important is who's sitting in the front row. It really,
yeah,
you know, the focus must go back to the collection on the runway. Um,
definitely.
at the same time, we need to be able to instantly, quickly put it online so that the rest of the world can see. So basically, the internet has come along and erased all borders. We just need to figure out my big thing, and I'm trying to learn as much as possible. And this is what I'd like the students to also think about: is the business of fashion. If I like something from a designer in Mali, I'm looking at my African
Yes,
map right now. How
yes.
how do I buy it safely and get it to me? Because that's going
Okay.
to, and that it
It's,
should be sorted out quickly. So there's a huge gap for courier companies and so on to make this work. So you can
yeah,
go online and buy it and figure out what gap do you see?
in
What
the
gap?
production. Yeah.
Yeah. Papa, can I call you Smurf or Papa? Um, Look, I think it's exactly what I'm talking about now. Is how do we?
Yeah.
It's getting the fit right, and um, how do we get your what you've purchased quickly to, you know, I mean, it's easier to get something from America or Europe now, but I want something from Mali now, and I want that to go quickly. You know, how does
Yeah.
that work? I know that there's companies working on it that can tell you, but we need to find a better way. This is why I want to erase the borders. But
Yeah.
Cynthia, it's lovely to see you.
Yes.
Cynthia, fashion designer from Namibia. I see she's come online.
Oh
Are
wow.
you, Cynthia, are you referring to the WWD article about fashion shows?
WW. Let me write it down for everyone.
I'm just opening it up here. The article is called, yeah, you need to subscribe to WWD, and the headline is Making the Case for Runway Shows. And they speak to Chanel, Karl Lagerfeld, call coming in. I've just killed it. So
No.
yeah,
No.
what I love about it is that I could try and catch I love this. It says, the fashion show remains the best way to express the brand's creativity and know-how. It's the beginning of the story, he said. For the moment, we have not found anything better. But to be honest, we were not even looking. I think we really like to make fashion shows.
Yeah,
So he's
definitely.
basically
I mean, the fashion show,
away from the idea that everything goes online. I don't think it will. I think things will
yeah.
return to a new normal, and we need to take, really take hold of this opportunity to do things differently.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, from a production or event perspective, have you ever had a client just absolutely not like what happened during the fashion show or whatever? Can you just tell me what was your best and then your worst show that has ever happened?
Wow. I have too many to mention, but I
Yeah.
can't help when we, the career highlights. Okay.
Okay.
This show in New York, which had a really, really big budget. We had approximately 40 models. It was for Rise magazine those days. The designers were Diola Sagu. It was
Okay.
Lisa Mpungwe Loincloth and Ashes.
Okay.
She's in Norwood. Um, Amazing designer. Please look her up. I think you've had a judge, or you have involved, Lysop has involved her before, and Black Coffee, as
And
in Jacques van der Wat's Black
yeah.
Coffee.
Yes.
And we did the most incredible show in this big venue with every top model that you could possibly imagine, from Alec Vec to Carly Kloss. Everybody was on the runway. And then, of course, the love of my life, I was able to get Grace Jones on a show. She walked for
What?
me in a show.
No way. Oh my
Yes.
God.
So, I'm just speaking at the top of my head. In Africa,
Yeah.
we have done such beautiful things. Something that's really dear to my heart I remember at the turn of the century, the year 2000, we did a show in the Cape of Good Hope. It was the Face of Africa finals, and it was called the African Renaissance Show.
Okay.
The students might be too young well, maybe
I
they would have been 10.
I know that. Yes, yes. So if I
And
know it, they should know it as well.
we and Nombulelo Mazibuko, she won that year, and Leratu Paul Malloy,
Yes.
she in that show. We just did incredible stuff. I love, and then a year later we did it at Sun City, which was also those Face of Africa shows were absolutely extraordinary and rare, when we included the Burundi drummers and Yosandur, and
Oh
it
wow.
was bringing the and fashion. Always, generally, when I'm dealing with fashion designers from other parts of Africa, then something that I'm very proud of. Many years ago, I see someone actually asked about the Nederburg auction. I
Yes.
did a retrospective of South African fashion at the Nederburg auction in the year 2003 and 4, which was a theatre production. And it was really, I actually taught myself then to dive
Okay.
back to South Africa's history and
Okay.
include fashion. Look, it was shocking what I found. I mean, if I have, it's pointless beating around the bush, and it's actually quite sad. I remember when I tried to do the finals for Face of Africa in Namibia in 1999, I could not find a, a black fashion designer in South Africa
Oh.
to participate. They literally
Oh.
didn't exist in Mihlali.
Yeah.
You can go back and uh, and then the Stone Cherry started. For me, she
Yeah.
was like, wow,
And over. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
today we're looking at the most amazing creative individuals, and some of them has
Amazing.
come from Lysoff, and it just
Definitely. Yeah.
warms my heart. Richard Nisi and Tebe
Yes.
Mabugo, just
Yes.
suddenly there was an explosion, and it's
Slogan, yeah.
you know, it's a long, and I believe that's why I believe the future for Africa is bright.
Yeah.
So we need this we need to get this industry ticking over. We've got
Yeah.
something very special to offer. I have a
Yeah.
question. How was your experience, Fern Malice? Whew. Fern Malice is actually female Papa Smurf. Um, so myself and Greg, you asked about Greg as part of the company, and he has been since the year 2000. And he was actually with me. We were venue managers for Fern Malice at New York Fashion Week for
Yes.
2 years. What that
Oh, wow.
entails, and so that's why it taught me the back end of the fashion industry. We were assigned a venue at New York Fashion Week, and we had to run that venue for the designers. So we had
Okay.
designers in and out. We had to set up hair and makeup, make sure everybody is happy, make sure that the show started on time, make sure everything was in order. So just all those logistical details.
Yes.
And asking about Fern, she was tough, which was fantastic. When she walked in, you knew you had to be on point. You
Yeah.
needed to be. It taught me about just detail and
Okay.
crossing I's and T's.
Yeah.
She's, you know, she, if you go onto her Wikipedia page, she literally found New York Fashion Week as we know it.
Oh,
So
wow.
how are you in supporting? Well, Papa Smith, I need to meet you. I'm not sure if I know you, but you asking very good questions.
Papa Smurf this entire week
Everybody,
has been that person in the interviews constantly asking questions. If there was a huge overall prize, I would give it to him because he's really been on the ball. He's
I
really
could
been
put,
on.
I tell you, please look out for Hospice Wits Night with the Stars that we do every year, because we get a lot of
Mm.
designers involved and a lot of performers, and so this year we can't do it. We are heartbroken. So I
Yeah, I
want
can
you to
imagine.
look out. Sorry, I'm looking at my board. We're looking at, I think it's the 14th of July. We're going to have an Instagram event. So, Clockley, I might ask you to help me because I'm still getting my way around it. But we're going to
Definitely. I'll also
all
ask
our
Lisa,
performers.
who's the guru in terms of Instagram, but definitely will help you out.
So I'm going to need advice. So we're going to get all the designers, all the alma mater from Hospice Wits. You know,
Okay.
this will be the second time that we do it.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's a lot involved because we get over 100 celebrities and performers to walk the
Sure.
runway. So now we're
Yeah.
going to get to post and to raise funds for hospice and
Oh,
tick the
wow.
box, go to the page, donate for Hospice Wits. So
Yeah.
I always try to involve charity in everything that we do. And if you can, if you guys, if you really are interested, I don't want to keep talking about myself. Go onto janmalan.com or umzingeli.com and read the
Yeah.
bio and see all the events we've been involved in. I mean, it spans way back to, but what are we trying to do here? We're trying to tell the students to follow their hearts and get into
Yes.
the fashion industry.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I just want to answer a few questions that came in from Talk Lots of Everything Nice. So, he's asking about internships. So you did speak about that earlier. Jan did state that if you are looking in internships, if you email him directly, he'll be more than welcome to help. But if you also go through an organization, he prefers that better. And then the second question that he asked was, what is your creative process in putting a show together? So do you
Well,
first get inspired by the clothing? How does it all begin for you?
I would like to think it's my special gift.
Okay.
I love if I see a designer's collection, I close my eyes and I can hear the music.
Oh, wow.
And also, it that the core of what I do, and I love the way he's asked it, because
Yeah.
just that is what makes me do what I want to do, or what I do.
Yeah.
Is
Sure.
that it's I don't have all the vocabulary to express myself, but it's the coming together of and just a moment, a mood, a story, and telling it on stage so that your audience grasp it immediately. I want people
Yeah.
to get goose flesh and get
Yeah.
it,
Yes.
So so just putting soundtracks together and just playing with people. I guess it's the same as what a movie director goes through,
Yeah.
putting on a play. Or the difference with what I do, I only have that one moment to get it right.
Okay.
After that, it's almost like social media. It's just
Yeah.
whoops, it's
It's
gone.
gone.
On
It's
to the
gone.
next thing. So,
On
but we'll keep.
I wanted to ask also one more question in terms of shows that you haven't produced yourself. Which show at the top of your head where you thought, oh my gosh, this is one of those shows that you wish you had done yourself? Are there any of those, or all of yours are great?
No, of course, I look at other people's work, and yeah, I would. You know what? Nothing drifts to the top right now, but
Mm,
I think it's always got to do with budget. I think
okay.
it was Chanel or Gucci that I just saw the shows that they did in Paris. That's
Okay.
just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's so I really don't want to. We've got some great producers in South Africa as well that has put some amazing work together that you watch from start to finish.
Yeah.
And let me mention them. I'm
Please.
thinking of Karen Bird. I'm thinking
Okay.
of Dion Redman. I'm thinking of Mary Reynolds. Um, and this one, Antiwa has started
Okay.
doing shows. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Andiswa.
No, no, no.
And so, yeah, in terms of, I'm always inspired. I do. It's a difficult question to answer, but yeah, of
Yeah.
course, I believe that my shows are the best.
Yeah, definitely they are. Jan, we've only got 1 minute left. It's counting us down. I think definitely from our side, we just want to thank you so much for spending your evening with us and just speaking gems really about how to get in, how to move forward. I think definitely there's so much more that we can learn from. And I will humbly ask for an interview on another date or another time whenever you are available. We thank you so much. There is a competition that we were running, actually a secret one. So the competition of that is the winner of that is Cynthia from Namibia. So if she can just DM us, and then we'll get into contact with her. But yeah, I just want to thank you
Anytime.
so much. And we'll definitely ask you to come and hop in again, and we'll have much more to speak about. So for everybody who's tuned in, thank you so much for spending your evening. We thank you so much. The program will continue tomorrow. Please make sure you watch our other interviews as well, and we'll move forward from there. Jan, any last words from you?
Thank you. I just want to wish everybody the best, and let's not be too depressed about COVID-19. Let's look at the future. Let's clean up. Let's clean out. Start fresh. I believe in a couple of months, there's going to be such positivity, and so
Yeah.
many things will be, and everybody will be in a better space. And so we're going to be all the better for it.
Yes, I completely agree. Okay, with that, we've got 5 seconds left. So bye, everyone.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Ciao.